The average doctor spends 12 years in school before they ever touch a patient. A plumber can be making 6 figures in under 4 years without a single dollar of student debt. So why does everyone tell their kids to become a doctor? This is the career of a plumber. From the first day you show up with nothing but a wrench and no idea what you are doing, all the way to owning a company. Level 1, the apprentice. You signed up for a 4 to 5 year apprenticeship, either through a union program or a state-approved trade school partnership. You go to school part-time in the evenings and work full-time on job sites during the day. You are learning theory in a classroom and immediately applying it in the field the next morning, which is a learning model that no university degree can touch. You carry materials. You hand tools to people who know what they're doing. You ask questions and sometimes you ask the wrong ones and you learn which questions are wrong. In year 1 you are earning somewhere between $18 and $22 an hour. By year 4 you are closer to $30, with overtime, which is not rare in this trade. You can pull $45,000 to $60,000 a year before you even have your full license. What you are actually learning in this phase is not just plumbing, it is pipe sizing, water pressure calculations, drain slope, fixture installation, how to read blueprints, how to rough in a bathroom, the difference between copper, PVC, PEX, and cast iron, how to sweat a joint without burning a wall, and how to talk to inspectors. You are building a technical vocabulary that turns a building from a mystery into something you understand completely. You are going to cross-thread something. You are going to forget to check if the water is off before you open a line and you are going to get soaked. You are going to make the kind of mistakes that feel embarrassing in the moment and become the stories you tell in 10 years. Those mistakes are the tuition. You are paying them with embarrassment instead of money, which is a far better deal than what most people your age are paying. The one move that separates the apprentices who advance fast from the ones who stall out is finding a journeyman or master plumber who actually takes time to explain why something works, not just what to do. Not all of them will. Some see you as cheap labor and nothing else. The ones who teach you the reasoning behind the work will compress your learning curve in ways that classroom hours cannot. Chase those people. Ask them questions. Stay late when you do not have to. Level 2, the journeyman plumber. You passed your journeyman exam. You are no longer learning under constant supervision. You are a licensed working plumber. You can pull permits in your own name in most states. You can run a job without a master plumber physically present for routine work. You are, by every professional definition, the real thing. Your pay reflects it. Journeymen in the United States earn anywhere from $25 an hour in lower cost of living rural markets to $50 or $60 an hour in high-density union markets like New York, Chicago, or San Francisco. The national median sits around $30 to $35 per hour, which annualizes to $60,000 to $70,000 before overtime. In strong union markets with consistent overtime, breaking $90,000 a year as a journeyman is entirely realistic. You are now diagnosing problems instead of just fixing what someone else already figured out. A homeowner calls and says their water pressure is low. You walk in and within 10 minutes you know whether it is a pressure regulator failure, a partially closed shutoff, mineral buildup in the lines, or a supply issue coming from the street. You have enough pattern recognition that problems announce themselves to you. That is what expertise actually feels like from the inside. This is also the phase where your career splits into 2 very different trajectories and the choice you make here shapes everything that follows. Residential plumbing is more varied, more relationship-driven, and more irregular in scheduling. Commercial plumbing is bigger in scale, more blueprint-heavy, and generally pays more. Industrial plumbing, in refineries, hospitals, or manufacturing plants, pushes your ceiling even higher and often leads into specialty certifications that put you in a category most plumbers never reach. Each path has a different culture, different physical demands, and a different ceiling. Take that choice seriously. Level 3, the master plumber. This is the license most people in the trade talk about. In most states you need a minimum of 4 to 5 years of documented journeyman experience plus a comprehensive exam covering code interpretation, advanced system design, and business law. Some states also require an application with proof of employment history and references. It is not handed to anyone. Why it matters goes beyond the credential itself. As a master plumber you can legally pull permits, supervise other plumbers, and sign off on completed installations. In most states, a plumbing company cannot legally operate without a licensed master plumber on record. That single fact gives you structural leverage in the market that no journeyman has. You become the legal foundation that a business can be built on. Your earning potential shifts significantly here. Master plumbers working for companies typically earn 30 to 40% more than journeymen in the same market. But what the license really does is unlock the business side of the trade. which is where the ceiling disappears entirely. Most people spend their entire working life building value for someone else. A master plumber license is one of the few credentials in the trades that lets you convert your personal expertise into structural power. If you stop here, working as a licensed master for a company, you are looking at a six-figure income, a credential that travels with you across state lines, and skills that cannot be outsourced or automated. That is not a consolation prize. That is a career that most people with expensive degrees would take without hesitation. Level 4, the independent plumber. You file your LLC. You get your business license. You buy a truck, probably a used one. You have your master license, your liability insurance, and maybe 2 or 3 people who said they would call you when they need work. That is the whole business on day 1. The first year is the hardest year of your professional life. And not because the plumbing is hard. You have been doing the plumbing for a decade. What is hard is everything else. Answering your own phone, writing your own invoices, collecting payment from people who do not want to pay, figuring out what to charge, getting your first reviews, explaining to a homeowner why the job costs what it costs without apologizing for your own price. Most new plumbing business owners underprice themselves in the beginning. They charge what feels fair instead of what the business actually needs to survive. A solo operator has to account for overhead, insurance, vehicle costs, tool replacement, unbillable hours spent on estimates, slow periods, and the fact that a significant portion of what you earn goes to taxes before you see it. When you run those numbers, your rate has to be considerably higher than what you earned as an employee just to break even on paper. The advantage you have that most small business owners do not is that plumbing demand is not discretionary. When something breaks, people call. You are not selling a luxury. You are solving an emergency, often the same day it becomes one. That dynamic gives you pricing power and urgency that almost no other small business category has. In your first 2 years, you are building 3 things simultaneously: a reputation, which comes from doing excellent work and being easy to deal with; a review base, which is the modern version of word of mouth and is the most powerful marketing tool available to any local service business; and a referral network, meaning relationships with real estate agents, property managers, general contractors, and home inspectors who send you consistent work because you are reliably good and reliably professional. Solo operators in established markets generating $300,000 to $500,000 in annual revenue are not rare once those 3 things are in place. Level 5, the plumbing business owner. At some point you have more work than you can physically do yourself. This is the moment most independent tradespeople either level up or plateau permanently. Taking on your first employee means you are no longer a plumber who owns a business. You are a business owner who happens to be a plumber. That is a completely different identity, and it requires a completely different set of skills. Hiring your first employee exposes every gap in your operation immediately. You need to make payroll, which means you need consistent cash flow, which means you need to be sharper on billing and collection than you ever had to be as a solo operator. You need workers' compensation insurance. You need a system for tracking jobs because you cannot hold everything in your head anymore. You need to be able to communicate your standards to someone else because your output is now partially dependent on theirs. The businesses that scale well in this trade build systems before they feel like they need them. A documented process for answering calls and booking jobs. A pricing structure that is consistent and profitable across every technician on your team. A quality check process so that every job that leaves your company meets the same standard regardless of who ran the call. A customer follow-up sequence that generates reviews and repeat business automatically. As you grow from 2 trucks to 5 to 10, your role shifts again. You spend less time on tools and more time on operations, hiring, estimating, building relationships with commercial clients, and managing the financial health of a company that might have 15 to 20 people depending on it. Plumbing companies at this scale generate anywhere from $1 to $10 million in annual revenue. The owner of a well-run mid-size operation in a strong market can personally earn $200,000 to $500,000 or more depending on how aggressively they reinvest versus take out.